Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Javi and today we are diving into Nu Holdings. We're going to cover why it's been dropping recently and why I think it has a lot of growth left. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you stick around and let's dive right in. As of now, Nu Holdings is actually at $10.95. Max, it is down 7% approximately from its IPO range. And from its all-time high, it's actually down 28%. Let me do this again real quick. Yeah, 28%. And some of the negative sentiments are from Warren Buffett just sold some of his stocks. He sold 19% of his shares. And in all reality though, Warren Buffett has been a net seller because he actually was trimming Apple stock and Floor and Decor. I think he completely sold from his account. So I think overall, that's what Warren Buffett is doing, but should you be selling as well? I don't think so. Like, at least that's not what I'm doing with my portfolio. I'm actually increasing my holdings for Nu Holdings. I'm actually at 300 shares right now, and I am dollar cost averaging $15 when the market is open. So why is new stock dropping? So as mentioned earlier, Warren Buffett sold 19% of his holdings for Nu Holdings, and other factors, I believe, are macroeconomic challenges, such as in Brazil, where Nu is doing a bulk of its operations. Additionally, rising inflation and interest rates have led to concerns about the sustainability of the growth in this key market. Also, there's been noted an increase in non-performing loans, particularly in Brazil, which could be a red flag for investors. Also, Citi, one of the analyst that covers the stock, actually moved the rating from neutral to sell due to valuation concerns, and that I think that has contributed to the stock's decline. Another factor might be the foreign exchange headwinds that have impacted Nu's performance, particularly affecting loan growth due to currency fluctuations. However, it's not all doom and gloom for the stock. I do think that it has several positive growth indicators. For example, the company's expansion into Mexico and Colombia is showing promising signs. In Mexico, Nu has actually surpassed 8 million customers with significant investments aiming at the large unbanked population, which I think that's a huge market to target because that would also improve that economy, which in turn it's going to be like that positive feedback thing where you improve the financial segment, which in turn will improve the investments that the population is doing, which in turn will continue growing that market in general, and they will continue investing long term. So that's why I see this as a huge opportunity for any company that invests in Latin America, because Latin America is a huge market to invest in. I actually know a lot of people down in South America, and I know um, they have issues transferring money from different banks to another country, for example, the United States. So adding Mexico and Colombia are huge moves for Nu Holdings. So moving on to Colombia, Nu is leveraging its digital banking model to capture market shares, and the company's focus on the financial inclusion, coupled with the innovative products like high yield savings accounts and fixed return savings options, which I believe will position the stock for future growth. Okay, scrolling down, we can see that the revenue for Nu Holdings has been increasing drastically. From September, 981 million. The net profit margin at that time was 30%. And December of 23, revenue was 1.21 billion, which was a 92% increase with a net profit margin of 29%, which was an increase of 163%. March 24, revenue increased to 1.27 billion, which is a 79% increase with a net profit margin of 29%, which was a 48% increase from that. And that's a year over year change as well. So for June, revenue was 1.46 billion, which is a 76% increase, and net profit margin at that level is 33%, which is a 22% increase. And September of 24, revenue was 1.54 billion, which is a 56% increase, and a net profit margin of 36, which is a 16% increase. Another number to point out is the net income, which is 83% year over year, and it's been consistently high. So starting back December 23, the net income was 221%, March 24, 167%, 116% for June 24, and September 24, or their quarter three, was 83%. So these are crazy good numbers. And the presence of new is consistently growing because they have a market education section now where they can educate their consumers about financial services, which will build that loyalty and establishing a strong brand presence from the ground up. Analysts predict that earnings per share to grow at a compound annual rate of 38% from 2024 to 2026. Despite it dropping 28% from its all-time high, I do think that a PE ratio of 30 is not that bad. I think usually companies with slightly higher PE ratios means that they are either overvalued or they are potentially expected to grow at a faster rate. For example, Nvidia was at these levels before where people were constantly buying the stock to the point where its PE ratio was above 100. Same thing with Shopify. Shopify had like a PE ratio of like 1,000. And because people kept buying it because they had so much confidence in that technology working. And eventually they reported good earnings and the PE ratio eventually averaged out to where it was going to be. And it never actually dropped even further. So as you can tell, Nvidia has been going up really, really drastically, even with Shopify as well. To wrap up, I do want to keep an eye on how New manages its credit risk in this expanding market, as this will be crucial for its long-term sustainability. Also, while New has shown impressive user growth, converting these users into profitable customers will be the next big challenge. So I will continue monitoring the earnings reports that they keep posting and the delinquencies that they report on their websites as well. It is important to actually go on their website and get the reports. While analysts can be good at summarizing some of these and some of them are actually good at forecasting as well, it's not essentially, sometimes it's not really factual and a lot of times they are wrong. So it's good to just make your own opinion based off what you are reading from the company themselves. So I've been doing that since I started investing back in 2017. I go to their website and that's what I try to focus on. For example, here, the delinquencies in Brazil for consumer credit portfolio, it has been increasing. And I believe that's one of the valuation concerns that Citibank actually reported. So keeping an eye on this and see how it does will keep your portfolio alive. But I do have high hopes for Latin America because that market has a lot of potential in general. Basically, New Holdings is at a pivotal moment. On the downside, there are real concerns about economic stability in its core market of Brazil and the quality of its loan portfolio. And on the upside, the strategic expansion into new markets, the untapped potential in digital banking across Latin America, and New's innovative product offerings provide a robust foundation for growth. The company's commitment to financial inclusion, coupled with its technological edge, could make it a formidable player in the global fintech scene. And I actually see this stock as another SoFi investment because SoFi is the fintech of the United States. And I think SoFi also should be on this list as well for like buying. But SoFi in my portfolio actually rose more than 120%, and I secured more than half of my holdings. And I basically have a very basic strategy of selling my stocks that are going up and buying the stocks that are dropping. So I have this weird like self-management ETF that I have in my portfolio. That's why I keep around 90 to 100 stocks in my portfolio. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more financial insights. Drop your thoughts or your questions in the comment sections below, and I'll see you in the next video.